As AI tools are getting easier to use, prompts are getting simpler, are having less friction, yet you're seeing clients struggle more, not less. What do you think is happening?
I think that the fact that it's getting easier is having like the inverse effect on people, at least who I talk to. And so the reason for this, I think, is because of where the barrier to entry was and now where it is just so low that anybody can pretty much get on it and do whatever that they can think of. It makes you feel like if I can do this, just imagine like what people who are better than me can do. But also if I focus on this now, I can do insane things, which is not a lie. That's 100% true. But then it's like they expect it to be a replacement. They expect AI will replace them. And that's just, it's not true. And I think that there's three main reasons that they have this idea of AI will replace me. And so they start to have this misconception of the power and the capability of AI. And I think the three reasons I said are, the first one is, I mentioned this to you earlier about how they have like this superhero perception behind AI, and it's this one thing that's going to cure everything. And then there's people who don't have a proven sales script who want to outsource their sales to AI. You know, you don't know how to sell, you don't know what the things are about your product. Like, you're asking Claude to do the selling for you, and it's more about what it's like as a human being with emotions, how to spend money on things that make life better. Way more than Claude about that. Like, you don't have a sales process, you want to outsource selling. So I think the superhero one is the first one. I mentioned this to you before. The second one, I think, is, we've noticed this, is like AI has this huge people pleasing thing where it can be wrong, it cannot know the answer, but one way or another, it's gonna make you feel relaxed and secure, right? It wants you to feel comfortable, and it gives this false sense of security. And that's a big one, because if you're a company and you're used to using some of these AI models and, oh my God, it's so powerful and it's so good and it's great at what it does, and then you put it in the real world and it just completely falls apart. That's because I think the people pleasing problem. And the third one you just mentioned, actually, you said prompting was getting like simpler. And I think that's like an illusion, because if you had an AI agent and you had an intern, let's say in a business, it's like whatever you were going to tell the intern, however you were going to manage the intern, you need to apply the same logic to managing the AI. And so at the end of the day, your fundamental lack in how to handle and manage
Right.
people is going to transfer over to your ability to manage an AI is the same thing. Those are the three reasons I think we have this expectation versus reality thing happening,
Okay.
in my opinion.
So I have some counter questions about that. In case of superhero fallacy, do you think that with the augmentation and increase in the technological capabilities of LLM that is happening rapidly, that gap will close?
Yes, I do. I do. And I think it's going to happen soon as well. This is just what I'm seeing right now. If you look at, I think it was Singapore, who they just released like the first AI
Yeah.
governance framework. And it's like this whole model thing about how AIs are going to be used. And they have this A to A, it's like this agent to agent protocol. And I think that the only reason that we need to have such levels of governance around AI is because it's actually going to get to the point that we've been talking about. It's not there yet. But I think the reason that countries are signing agreements regarding agentic usage is a huge indicator that it's eventually going to get to that
Right.
level. It's just not there
Right.
yet, right
Yeah.
now.
And
Yeah.
so about the hallucination, that you need to verify whether the AI is correct or not, where would you draw the line? How often should a company or an enterprise check whether the AI is correct?
I think that it definitely depends on what they're using it for and how often they're using it and how complex the task is that they're doing with it. And I think this is also why IBM predicted that you're going to have a, you're going to start seeing job descriptions for LLM manager. You're going to start seeing these companies start hiring people to do that stuff, is because it's like, how often should you check if it's hallucinating?
Yeah.
Probably very often, because we still
Yeah.
are very new at this. We don't know that much yet. We're still brand new. Even the people like me and you who deal with it every day, we're still brand new on some level. So I think it definitely depends on the complexity and the frequency that you're using it. But having a dedicated person to that might be a good
Hmm.
idea.
Right.
I think we'll see it happening.
So one thing that I'm worried about is if it hallucinates and a person relies on it as a source, a credible source, and then they use it to publish, let's say, their own article, and the LLM
Yeah.
learns that article and relies on it as a credible source, and that vicious cycle continues. So, how will affect companies and freelancers?
I feel like due diligence is
Mm.
still important. And I think as a human with like intellect as we have it, you need to be aware of the potential hallucinations and so that you can go to the traditional methods we have of checking source viability before you publish something. Because at the end of the day, AI or LLMs rather are just
Hmm.
okay. LLMs are a form of AI, and they're just token predictors, right? They just want to predict what's the most
Yeah.
likely next token that's gonna be there. That's what they do. So it's like you knowing that, and then you also
Mm.
talk about how it's people pleasing. Like these two things together don't make AI credible at all. The fact that it's just gonna do prediction and that it wants to
Actually.
please you, even if it has access to the web, which we see some agents now, they can access like GPT obviously and Gemini and Claude, they can all access the internet now. But even like ChatGPT will give you fake links. It'll give you a fake link. You click on the link and it opens a page that says this page does not exist. That happens. So I think it will only, because
Right.
you asked me how it will affect business, I think it will only affect business if they don't continue to have
Mhm.
traditional due diligence when it comes to
I'm
information.
especially concerned about Grok. If it extracts from live tweets, dude.
Yeah, that one, that was, yeah. That I think I was actually
Hmm.
talking about this with my friends, and I think as terrible as it was, the whole underage incident that happened, I think it was a good thing and a bad thing. It was obviously a bad thing in the general sense, but it was a good thing in that I think it's gonna be the catalyst for
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of guardrails and ethic that are gonna come into play now, and we wouldn't have been
Hmm.
here this soon without the incident. I think
Okay. So,
two
in your
sides.
day-to-day work, what is the percentage of input that is strictly guardrailing?
Oh, a lot, a
Hmm.
lot. It depends on the use case, but it's a lot because the thing with guardrails is I think it's like the closest we can get to solving one of the biggest problems with AI. There's many problems with AI. There's many problems with it. There's a lot. There's like the big scale of how much energy it takes, and then there's the smaller scale of
Hmm.
it doesn't have the
Right.
context it needs, whatever the problems are. But guardrails are one of the ways that we can actually increase how much we can trust
Hmm.
the AI output, which is a big deal, right? Because the point of it is to save you time, and the point of it is to prevent you from having to be there. That all depends on trust. So the more you can trust it, the more you can let it do its own thing. So I think I spend a lot of time on guardrails, and I think that's an important part of any business ready
Right.
application. I don't think I can give you a percentage though. I don't know. I don't think I can give you a
Right.
percentage, but it's a
Uh,
lot.
on our previous conversation, we talked about how some skills are just not transferable to AI, especially something that can be mastered, something that is like intuition or embedded in your subconscious. So, could you
Yeah.
elaborate about that?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I think AI works on probability, and humans, we work on intuition, which, like, to some
Right.
extent, that's like improbability. It's like improbability. And so I'll just give you a real life example of this happened to me. In the beginning, when I first started out, I asked Claude to do my business strategy for me. And it told me I needed a landing page, I needed an offer, I needed to do cold outreach. I needed to do warm outreach. I needed to have a guarantee. I needed to set up a system of referrals. It
Mm-hmm.
just gave me so much. That's probability because if you think
Yeah.
about it, that's most likely going to work. If I did it, it would work. It's very likely. But yeah, I didn't do any of that. By the way, I didn't do any of that. What I did was I looked at,
Mm.
okay, who are the people that I admire? Like intuitively, there are people who I think are
Mm-hmm.
where I would like to be in my life. So for me, I guess that's people like, yeah, Nate Herc or like Nick
Mm-hmm.
Sarive or some other guy called Jacob. These people are in the AI space
Mm.
and they're in the AI business space and they're helping a lot of people. And I looked at what they did to get started, which was just straight up demonstrating
Mm.
so much expertise in any possible way. Like automation tutorials they usually disguise them as a
Mm.
tutorial, but it's just like they're just
Mm.
showing that they're an expert at what they're doing. And that was nowhere on Claude's recommendation. But intuitively, I was like, okay, who do I like? What did they do?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just do that. That was my intuition.
Mm.
And it's working so far. I think that is big because it really shows that some things you cannot transfer. AI runs on tokens and humans run on intuition. There's a big difference between the two. And we talked about experience in our last meeting, me and you, and how about how somebody with 20 years of experience, they can sell a $10 million building
Yeah.
and earn $1 million commission or $500,000 commission on that. And if they taught you everything they know, but it was your
Yeah.
first negotiation, you'd probably fail. And the same thing goes with like exams in school. You don't prepare for an exam by reading
Mm.
lectures. You prepare by doing the previous
Yeah.
exams. It's the same thing. So I think
I
that's
think there's
important.
also this concept that can be taken into factor, curse of knowledge, that when you get an
Mm.
expert in some field, it is a bit hard to describe to, let's say, a new user what the concept means.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I think so. Yeah, because you have to
Yeah.
remember what it was like to be at
You can't
zero to
unlearn
actually
and
help this
explain,
person. And
right?
yeah, no, you can't. You can't. This is gonna be a big problem because like in 10 years, we're going to have pilots
Mm-hmm.
who don't know anything about physics, and we're going to have coders who don't know how to code. And like, if we keep progressing at the
Mm-hmm.
rate at which people are depending on AI, I honestly think like this is part of what can't be delegated. It's like people are over delegating a lot of stuff to AI. And then it's 10, 20 years down the line, all of the skilled engineers we were supposed to have, all of the people who were going to fly the planes, the people who were going to make the software, and all of these things will it just be an AI? Will it just be an AI that's doing it? I personally don't think that's a possible future, I'll be honest with you, because I think as humans, we always want to be doing something. But at the same time, I passed my exams this sem, bro, but I didn't study.
Do you want?
Like,
Okay.
it's yeah, it's fine. Go ahead. It's okay. It's a proof of how slow our education system is and
Yeah.
how it doesn't
Yeah.
catch up to
That's
things
true.
that should catch up to. Like, how much better would it be if we learned how to use AI to
Mm.
accelerate
Mm.
learning
Actually.
instead of giving us like a project to write code because nobody's writing code. 300 students in
Mm.
my class, no one wrote any code because the school isn't keeping up. They should.
So what my mindset was that, for example, if I want to write something, that I write first on my own and then give it to the AI to tell me the flaws and then write or refine it. Like, do you think is the difference between it being a crutch and it actually saving your time?
That's a good question. I think it depends on your goal. I'll say that because let's put it like this: you've been on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. If just the amount of AI slop that's on LinkedIn, everyone's
Yeah.
post, and it's so easy to tell that the post was written by. It's so easy to tell, right? And so it's Alex Hormozy. I'm assuming
Let's
you
say.
know who Hormozy is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So his big company acquisition.com and their head of growth or something.
Podcast. Yeah. 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 I was thinking I could stretch this topic, or should we? Do you think Gen AI or AI slop something, would that be good, or should we? move to the topic at hand. I was thinking of something that is engaging as well, right? And this is one of the most controversial, and God, this is something I watch every day. Let's just move on. Okay. So everyone says keep a human in the loop. What does it actually means, and what cognitive work has to happen for that human to add value and just rubber stamp AI outputs? How would you know that the content is worthy or not? General also, but yeah, primarily in stuff that is right now stuck to creativity and content creation. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's actually a very good idea. Okay, last question I have. Yeah, last question I have for you. Could you tell more about your job description? Someone wants to reach out to you. Oh. I'm sorry. Could you just explain, like in simple language, what automation means or general? Yeah. So mean like digital delegation. And like pause here. Should I ask you what are your target clients or who it will benefit, or do you want it to keep it broad? Who may benefit or who can approach? Okay. You can answer in broad terms. Okay. 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 Given your job description and your background, who can actually benefit from automation in their workflow and productivity? Okay. One general advice if you had to give to the people that you work with or the audience in general. Yeah. Actually, thank you so much for being part of this platform and giving much valuable insights. It's an honor to have you. It was my pleasure. Yeah.